We good? So, to understand Kendrick Lamar's Control, you have to understand the energy of 2013. We are on the tail end of the blog era. So right now we take it for granted. We're all like that just dropped. And we're all like the big three, Drake, Kendrick, Cole. It was not like that back then. To understand Kendrick, you have to realize that at that point, the West Coast is not as powerful as it had been traditionally in the past. TDE is coming out, so you have Kendrick, Schoolboy, J-Rock, Absol, Black Hippie. They are really ascending through platforms like Two Dope Boys and Nah Right on these blogs. But when Section 80 dropped, Section 80 did not move that many units, okay? It moved a couple thousand, I believe. I don't know the exact numbers, but Kendrick gets the cosign from Dr. Dre. Drake brings him out on the Club Paradise tour. That tour had people like A$AP Rocky and 2 Chainz, Kendrick, all of these people kind of getting this big moment because Take Care, that's Drake's sophomore. So he is already like a star. And for Kendrick, if you're someone like him, even on that Take Care record, I think he's on one of the interludes. Kendrick is talking about that feeling of like, oh, I'm almost the same age as Drake, and I'm farther behind. So you're already kind of seeing that hunger. Good Kid, M.A.A.d City comes out, and then overnight, he does something that a bunch of his peers or even people a little bit older than him, whether it's a Wale, Kid Cudi, J. Cole, even Drake, all of their debut albums kind of faltered. Where it was like people loved them from the mixtapes, people loved them from the blogs, but their debut album came out and it didn't sound like Illmatic, it didn't sound like Reasonable Doubt, it didn't sound like what we kind of deem as a classic debut album. Good Kid, M.A.A.d City almost overnight changes that because he's the rare blog rapper where his debut album is actually not only better than the mixtapes, but is so good that we start talking about it in terms of like, how does this stack up against history? And like, I can tell you as someone who was into all these rappers at this time, like, shit, I love Wiz Khalifa's like first album, Black and Yellow, but like, niggas wasn't taking it seriously as like a work of art. And Good Kid, M.A.A.d City, you could take that seriously as a work of art. People loved the record, but I would not say that he was not on the same level of a Drake or even a J. Cole, because those two guys had been out a little longer, already had hits, and Kendrick was he was there, he dropped almost an instant classic out of the gate, but you're still kind of wondering, all right, what's Kendrick gonna do? So before his sophomore album comes out, Big Sean drops this song, Control, right? And when I tell you there's like, it's funny how one verse can fuck up the game, it was like a before and after of Control was such a monumental moment that almost overnight, it jettisons Kendrick from battling with the Mac Millers and the A$AP Rockies and the Danny Browns to, oh no, we're going to have to take him as seriously as we take a Drake or a J. Cole. So it was almost him calling his shot before he even kind of had the discography to really pull it off. The night that Control drops, that was still a time where rap Twitter was such a thing, where when anything monumental will happen, you would see it on the timeline first. And everyone just, it's like you could hear a pin drop. People are like, yo, what the fuck is happening? First of all, this is the weird thing about Control, all right? Control is a Lucy that comes off Big Sean's sophomore album, and there's all these rumblings of like, yo, why isn't Big Sean dropping, why wouldn't he drop this song? Why wouldn't he drop this song in his album? Da-da-da-da. I'm like, because Kendrick not only murders Sean, he murders all of his peers. At this time in 2013, something that's also happening is that rap just becomes way friendlier, where because the internet, the blogs, we're about to enter the SoundCloud era, but we have Instagram and all of these things, these rappers are far less regional than they used to be. It's not East Coast beef and West Coast beef. It's not Outkast at the source being like, yo, the South got something to say anymore, because Drake's from Toronto, Canada, and not overnight because he worked very, very hard at it, but like Drake is friends with Cudi and Wale. They're all doing GQ photo shoots together. You know, you have songs like A$AP Rocky's One Train, where it's like, oh, Danny Brown, Action Bronson, A$AP Rocky, all these people there's this buddy-buddy feeling to it. And the thing that I think ignites Control so much is that it was very much a classic hip hop record where it is a rapper being like, fuck y'all, fuck y'all, fuck y'all, I'm the best. Enough of this fucking friendship shit. The first time that I hear Control, Big Sean's verse, I'm like, I like the beat. You know, I'm like, I like the sample. I'm like, all right, Big Sean. At this point, I'm like, all right, you rhyming. Then Kendrick comes in. And he does the thing that I hate Kendrick does. Kendrick does these things where it's like, he does this like alien vocal warp thing to his voice where he's like, oh, look at me, I'm Kendrick Lamar, I'm rapping really fast. And he starts doing that in the Control verse. I'm like, all right, here's another Kendrick verse. And then he goes, tell Flex to drop a bomb on this shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? And it just, he goes. And at that point, I was like, I was actually in awe because I was a fan of Kendrick at that point. But to me, he's still in the muck with a bunch of the other rappers that I just liked at that time, whether it was Tyler or A$AP or Mac Miller or whoever. I listened to all of them, but Kendrick was just one of them. He wasn't, to me, a superstar yet. And the important thing that people need to remember about Control is that, to me, it's not really like a diss or a beef record. What makes Control so good is that it's a statement of purpose record, right? Where when Kendrick drops Control, he's noticing that rap is changing. So think about what he's talking about in that record. He's talking about, yo, y'all are all on Instagram, you're taking Molly, you're acting like fucking groupies, it's all about designer clothes and shit. He's saying, no, I'm realer than y'all. Drake, at this point, he hasn't even ascended to the meme territory that he would get to on Hotline Bling. Champagne Poppy isn't so kind of ingrained in our culture yet. So the stuff that A$AP Rocky's doing with fashion or Tyler, the Creator's doing on YouTube, that's all still relatively new. Control is a statement of purpose. It is Kendrick realizing in real time, the social media age is coming, the streaming age is coming. Rappers are about to become, the celebrity of hip hop is about to become so much more important than the true tenets of hip hop, which is lyricism, flow, personality, what you sound like on a record. And Control, as much as people are like, yo, he's naming this person, he's naming this person, he's naming that person. It's like, what does he say before he starts being like A$AP, Meek Mill, A$AP Rocky, Drake, whatever? He's putting himself in the lineage of Jay, Nas, Andre 3000, Eminem. That's what I mean by it's a statement of purpose, being like, yo, I'm not even battling Drake and J. Cole anymore. They're not even on my same fucking level. My competition are the legends. Here's the thing that I want to say about Jay Electronica's verse on Control, because this has always been a thing. Like that comes out. People like, yo, like that's whack. Like that's not really a diss record. He didn't even say names, blah, 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 blah. He didn't even have the best verse, da-da-da. Niggas was doing this shit in 2013. I had to hear a bunch of people be like, yo, everybody's going crazy over that Kendrick verse, but Jay Electronica got the best verse, da-da-da. No, stop. I think history, here's the thing. I know I'm the most controversial Midnight Boy, but usually I'm on the right side of history, and even then I was like, y'all need to shut up. Like, Kendrick's verse is so good that people forget that Jay Electronica is on it. And Jay Electronica's verse is good, but also like Kendrick does the thing that I don't think a lot of rappers, even at that time, were willing to do, where it's like, beef records used to be like, yo, Tupac's calling out Faith, fucking motherfuckers like, I'ma shoot you, I'ma shoot your mama, fucking Jay-Z gotta go on Hot 97 and fucking apologize to Nas and shit. Rap beef used to be way more this, and at the point in 2013, it's so buddy-buddy that all rap beef is like subliminal. You know, it's already going that way. And what makes Kendrick's verse so shocking is that he is going down. He's be like, I'm better than you, I'm better than you, I'm better than you, I'm better than you. And I think there's a reason that Big Sean didn't release it. I think there's a reason that I think Jay Electronica and Kendrick had some static. Because if you're the other two rappers on that song, what the fuck is Jay Electronica gonna say? What is Jay Electronica gonna say after Kendrick is like, oh, I'm friends with all of y'all, but y'all niggas is whack. And let me tell y'all why. Jay Electronica is just like, yo, my third eye's open. Rothschild money, huh? And I'm just like, okay, Jay Electronica, fucking sure. So the fallout was immediate. Of course, none of these rappers necessarily liked Kendrick coming out of nowhere and saying all this shit. I mean, I honestly think that the most impactful kind of response, even though it was kind of not a response, is Drake, you know? Because out of nowhere, yo, this rapper was on my sophomore record. I took him out on tour. Now, some people would say Drake did that calculating because, hey, I put you on your first tour. You could always use that in the beef. I helped put you on, blah, 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 whether that's correct or not. So then you hear this, like Drake is also on Poetic Justice. He's on Good Kid, M.A.A.d City. And like all of a sudden, it's kind of like that basketball metaphor. Like the rookie that you're mentoring all of a sudden is just as good as you, if not better, and then they're trying to take your spot. I think Drake at that point, he did an interview with Elliott Wilson talking about, and he's like, oh, it's a dope moment, whatever, this and that. He's trying to downplay it, right? But you can't put that in the bottle. It's like that, right? Everybody's like, well, is he dissing? He didn't really say that much. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a diss record. It doesn't matter if it's a beef record. Once the genie's out of the bottle, once the toothpaste is out, you can't put that shit back in. I was listening to Control on the drive to the office today. And the thing that I think I take away from the record 10 years later, and it makes me sad because when I was listening to Control in 2013, I just had dreams of being a rap writer. I had dreams of like working for these publications, and that cohort of rappers that he's mentioning on that record were the artists that I grew up on and were the artists that I would like help me make a career in this. And I think the funny thing about Control is like, there's not another generation really didn't come up after them. Now you could say, you know, a Playboy Cardi or a Juice WRLD or all of those, but like Travis Scott ain't fucking making Control. It's like rap just fundamentally changed on a couple levels. I think no one raps like Drake or Kendrick or J. Cole anymore. It would have been wild to me if I was to be like, yo, you're going to look back and like, you're going to look forward, like in 10 years, you're going to be like, that style of kind of like traditional rapping, gone. You know, everything is more melodic, staccato. It's about the ad-libs, it's about reverb, it's about auto-tune, it's about all these different things. And I think the thing that kind of made me sad about Control is that not only has that style of rap gone out of vogue, which is like, well, it's just fine. Everything goes out of style. We don't have rappers to replace them. Like the circle of hip hop is like the thing that makes hip hop so powerful and makes it constantly a youth culture is that you're the hottest rapper until you're not. And then somebody's on the door and it's like that fucking NBA. You know what I'm saying? You watch LeBron or KD and Steph now, and we're all kind of getting sad because we're just like, oh, this is the beginning of the end. And I think in the NBA, it's something where like, no, there's always going to be kids to replace them. In hip hop, it's a little bit different because it's like, we don't have superstars like that anymore. And that's not because the rappers are less talented. It's because hip hop has moved in such a way that it's not as regional. Anybody can release music at this clip. If you think about Control, all of the rappers in his peer group that he's mentioning, all of those rappers are famous because of the internet. Before, you had to be signed to a major label, you had to do a whole rollout, you had to go to radio shows, you had to go on tour, all this shit. Control drops and it's just a bunch of fucking rappers are now here. 10 years later, it's like to the nth degree. Now there's thousands of fucking rappers and none of them are that poppin'. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Ken Carson drops a fucking diss track right now, people are like, cool. You know? Because he's not a superstar. It's like Lil Uzi and Playboi Carti are, but like, they're not really making what we would deem traditional rap. And I like, both of those artists have a lot of songs that I love. They're great in their own right. But I think the thing looking back on Control that makes me sad is I'm like, oh, that was the beginning of the end. We're never getting a big three again. Or at least I don't, because we just don't listen to music like that. It happened in rock. It's happening in pop music. There ain't nobody coming after Taylor Swift. Like, we got Olivia Rodrigo. But it's not the same. And I think Control was like, if I'm gonna be honest, Control was kind of like the beginning of the end. And like that is the end. Because niggas are fucking impersonating Snoop Dogg and Tupac with AI. And that's where I, as a 31-year-old man, be like, y'all got this. This is y'all game. Y'all got this. This is for the youngins. Y'all cool. I'm gonna retire and listen to, I don't know, hyperpop. Wait, no, how does it go? That Cole's for Jermaine Cole, Big Crit Wale, Big Bill, A$AP Rocky, Drake, Big Sean J, Electron, Tyler Miller. I got love for you all, but I'm trying to murder you niggas.
Trying to make sure you
I never heard of you niggas. I love that.